Hey YouTube, Sporklad here, coming at you with another deck profile. Sorry I haven't made a video in a really long time, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. So, since it's the beginning of the new Yu-Gi-Oh format, I decided I would show you my Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Yeah, sorry, no card by Vanguard today, but I promise I will have a updated version of my Goku Kagero deck up pretty soon, and as soon as I can finish up some more project decks in both Yu-Gi-Oh and Card Fight, I'll be sure to post them up here. So anyway, this is the deck that I've been using for about a month now. Gone to my locals a few times, and every single time I've gone, I've won. So obviously I'm doing something right. But anyway, last week at my locals, I split topped with my good friend. You may know him by the username of Explodium. I will put a link to his channel somewhere in the description down below, because he's an awesome dude, and he deserves it. The lucky son of a gun, he pulled a Priestess last week, but I pulled something shiny too. Yeah, but you know what, no one cares, because it's not a freaking Priestess. Alright. But anyway, here's the deck that I will be using for the foreseeable future. That is Inzektors. Love these little bugs. One of my new favorite decks, probably of all time. But anyway, here's the deck list. 3 Centipedes. Basically, now your main workhorse of the deck. Without Dragonfly and all those crazy loops, or crazy loops not happening quite as often, as I should say. The new name of the game for Inzektors has been protect this guy as long as possible and just keep plussing until you can finally OTK. Then we have one Ladybug, not Ladybug, what am I talking about? One Dragonfly. Does what Dragonfly does best, and special summons out Centipedes and makes OTKs happen. Then we've got our 3 Inzektor Ladybugs. With Hornet down to 1, we needed something else to activate their effects as many times as possible, and Ladybug does that the best. I've seen some builds with Hopper in it. I'm not a huge fan of Hopper just because I can't use it on the first turn. So for the time being, I'm using 3 Ladybugs. Then we've got 1 Inzektor Hornet. You know, the card everyone hates, but just too good to not use. Blow stuff up, and, you know, activates all my effects. 1 Gigamantis. Turns my Inzektors into random beat sticks, and has some OTK potential with Dragonfly. You know, with the whole bringing stuff back from the graveyard and activating Dragonfly's effect over and over again. You know, good stuff. Then we've got 2 Card Tripper, mostly just to increase the consistency of the deck by just milling off as many cards as possible. Hopefully hitting either Ladybug or Hornet, or even some of the other Inzektors, which I can then bring back with Call the Haunted. Plus, Card Tripper just does all the things Card Tripper's good at. Time with Ryo, drawing cards, you know, stuff like that. You know, good stuff. 1 Mystic Tomato. Once again, just for consistency's sake. Pretty flexible spot right now. Don't know if I'm going to keep using Mystic Tomato, but it basically does its job well enough. You know, searches out Dragonfly, searches out Ladybug, searches out Hornet. Used to bring out Sangan, rest in peace. You know, stuff like that. But seeing as it's pretty bad Mermail and Firefist bait, that may or may not change. Then speaking of Sangan, we've got 2 Torgai from the Underworld. Notice no Night Assailant, no Torbus, no nothing. Just pure 2 Torguides. She's good enough on her own. I don't need rank 3s that often. You know, thins out my deck. She's a dark, instant +1 into, you know, 1-for-1 into Xyz monsters, all this good stuff. Speaking of dark monsters, we've got 1 Dark Arm Dragon. All my stuff is dark, so really easy to bring him online, and when I do, he can even be used to activate all my effects by, you know, blowing stuff up that's equipped to Dragonfly, or, you know, we're just sitting there looking menacing. And then in the same kind of boat as Mystic Tomato, we've got 1 Spirit Reaper. Basically just used to stall people out and Wait until you can draw into your... Oh, gosh. Shoot. Sorry about that. That probably look pretty cool. I've been trying to get this stupid video to work for about 5-6 times now. I don't know, I've MacGyvered myself a iPhone stand, and it's not working out as well as I'd hoped, but I'm going to try and get this done as soon as possible, and I'm going to keep that just because it probably looks really cool. One Spirit Reaper, you know, that's what Spirit Reaper does. But I can sometimes get blown up by Fire Fists and Mermails and whatnot. Then we've got the Holy Trinity for our spells. Darkhold, Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, nothing to really explain about that. No reason not to run them. 3 Mystical Space Typhoons. Once again, too freaking good. 2 Pod Duality. Plus, you only really need to special summon when you OTK, so it doesn't really conflict with much. 1 Allure of Darkness, draw cards. Plus, you've got really easy access to Leviathan, so you can bring back what you banish. 1 Foolish Burial. Hit your Hornets and Ladybugs into the grave. 2 Inzektors Sword Set Calibers. These are used to continue your loops with Dragonfly, or just buff up your Centipede or stuff like that to, you know, attack over stuff. And then something I'm testing out right now, 1 Insect Imitation. If you don't know what it does, it tributes a monster and then special summons an insect from your deck that's 1 level higher. So, basically it's just in here to tribute off Ladybugs and make Centipedes. Fixes some problem hands. It's been going pretty alright as just kind of a one-of, but we'll see how that goes. Then for the traps, we've got 3 Threatening Roars. Protect your Centipede and make whenever your opponent overextends, you can then stop them before they attack, and then blow up all their stuff with Hornet. Always good. Then we've got 3 Call the Haunted, so freaking good in this deck. If you don't know, this is basically how I continue my Dragonfly loops and basically OTK people. Is with either Call the Haunted or Monster Reborn. If I can get Dragonfly's effect off more than once in a turn, I typically win. So that's why Call the Haunted is so good. Because typically after I use my Dragonfly effect, I can overlay them with Centipede, make either like an Adrius if I used Ladybug, or Leviathan if I used Hornet, then detach and then bring back Dragonfly to continue my OTK. Then the next few slots are pretty flexible depending on how the format goes, but we've got 2 Bottomless Trapple, makes up a little bit for the lack of a Solemn Warning. You know, does pretty good. 1 Mirror Force, because people still run into it, I don't know why. Then we've got the Solemn Duo, not the Solemn Brigade. I don't think 2 is enough to consider a brigade. But 1 Warning, stops Gores, stops things that might threaten your Centipede. Judgment pushes through your OTKs, stops Heavy Storm, you know, stuff like that. So that's the main deck, 40 cards. So now we'll go into the extra deck. We've got our rank 2s, we've got 1 Digesto Phoenix. So good. I've just recently put this in, and that extra 3,000 attack that you can pump out with 2 Ladybugs can often be the difference between winning and losing. 1 Gashi Gentetsu, just to buff up all your monsters and crawl into the fetal position if need to be. 1 Wind Up Zenmaines. You know, does what Zenmaines does, pretty stable. Tempo, steals Xyz materials, Acid Golem, Emergency 3k Beatstick. Leviathan gets back your banished stuff. Leviathan continues your OTKs. Then for the rank 4s, we got Black Ship of Corn. Your Face Explodium. Not for trade, buddy. But, you know, back on a more serious note, gets rid of Maestro, gets rid of Zenmaines, gets rid of Gashigashis. Photon Pap, pretty staple. 1 Maestro, pretty staple. Abyss Dweller for Dark Worlds or Mermails. Adrius, along with Leviathan, this is probably the Xyz monster I make the most, just because I can detach a Dragonfly and then keep going with an OTK. Then we've got Tyrus, Keeper of Genesis. Pretty staple rank 5. Just good for not being affected by card effects and blowing stuff up. And it gets even better now that Ryo's down to 2 and Warning's down to 1. Less things that can stop it. Number 12, Crimson Shadow Armor Ninja. If you don't know what it does, you can detach an exclusive material, and then your ninja monsters you control, basically just him, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Kind of like a my stroke, so, but for rank 5, so that's what makes it awesome. Then we've got 1 Nexus Tag for the number 15 slot. If you don't know what Nexus Tag does, I can detach a material and then seal an opponent's monster from either their field or your graveyard or their graveyard and equip it to them. And then it gains half the attack and defense of the original attack and defense of the monster equipped. Can do some really funny stuff. I think the most funny thing I've done is I was up against a plant player on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro or something, and I made this and still their shooting Star Dragon and attack for game. It was pretty funny. So now I'll show you what I currently have for a side deck. Once again, as the format changes, it might change, so you never know. You've got 2 effect failures, mostly for stuff like Brofists, Inzektors, stuff like that. 2 Max C, don't know how I feel about Max C right now. Might get replaced with Droll and Lockbird whenever prophecies become, freaking stupid. 2 Raikou, Let's Run Hunter. I typically side these in against stuff like Rabbit and anything that can basically side in macro, because I'll set this and then they'll attack into it and blow up macro. Plus I can sneak up on Logias and stuff like that. Plus mill stuff to my graveyard, just kind of like Card Trooper. Then for the spells, we've got 3 Messenger of Peace. Really, really good card in this deck. Keeps stuff like Dino Rabbit and Heroes at Bay, which are still very, very alive in my meta, and basically just stalls out games until I can draw my combo pieces. Keeps them away from me and protects Centipede. Then we've got 3-dimensional fissures. Really good. I mean, if you're confused about this, don't be. Whenever my Inzektors are detached, they're treated as equip spells, so they don't get banished for Fissure. Also, exclusive materials don't get banished. So, Dimensional Fissure really doesn't hurt me, but it hurts a whole lot of other decks, like Looking at You, Mermail, and Dark World, and Frogs, and, stuff. Then we've got 1 Dust Tornado. I basically side this against anything that's really back row heavy, stuff like Fire Fists, Dino Rabbit, Hero, stuff like that. And then we've got 2 Mind Crush, which is just a really good card in general, but even better with Mermails and basically anything that searches. I mean, everything searches in today's metagame, so, whenever they search, or if you're going for game and need to check to make sure if they've got a Gores or not, Mind Crush does the trick. So, anyway, guys, that is my deck. I'll go ahead and go backwards through the deck. We've got, as I continue to talk to you guys. So, tell me what you guys think. Let it be known that this is definitely a work in progress. It's been working out really well so far, as I've said. If I ever win a game, it's typically through an OTK, or maybe they warninged or got hit by a card trooper or something that made it a little bit easier. But anyway, they typically go down from about 6,000 plus to 0 in a turn. But anyway, I've been really enjoying it. So tell me what you guys think. Be sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe. If you feel opinionated, I don't really care, but it's always nice to hear back from the community. And also, go check out Explainer's channel, because he's a really cool guy. Anyway, that's it for the deck profile, and I will see you guys around. So, thanks for watching.